drove back up to the house and got my rat shot. But by the time I got back, it was gone. But since when does a raccoon
Look at
pace
this.
a loud piece of
Coors
machinery?
Light.
Yeah, no.
See that?
What?
Look what's in the background.
I know. I'm already glaring at it. I said, "What the hell? Put that on."
No, Coors Light. You know, so
Oh no, I thought you were talking about CNN.
yeah. And I was thinking, yeah, this CEC meeting is sponsored by Coors Light.
Oh,
You know, CNN.
yeah.
The Canadian News Network. You know. Okay, looks like the time is 6:01, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Marion County GOP County Executive Committee meeting to order. This is our organizational meeting. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and have everybody stand if you can, please. And at this time, we're going to go open up with a prayer. And Lynette, could you please lead us in a word of prayer?
This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, we thank you for this day you've given us. Thank you, God, that you brought each and every person here. Thank you, Lord, for this organizational meeting, Father God. We ask, God, that you just lead and guide the leaders here, Father God. Thank you for the new ones coming on, Lord. We ask, God, that you are with them. Thank you for the wisdom, God, for them, the discernment, Lord, and just be with each and every person here, Father God. And it's in your wonderful name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you'll remain standing, I have the American flag here. We're going to say the pledge to it at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. You may be seated. Thank you.
There she is.
Hi. You could come sit over here, Miss Nara. Yeah, we got a spot for you.
You see, I didn't see your name on email.
Did I just lose connection? Oh no, we're still recording. So,
Oh, good Lord.
at least I thought we were.
No, I got your text. I've just been busy.
Oh, no, it's okay. I figured you'd answer me, but I'd either see you tonight or I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know? 'Cause I'm going,
I'm not, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
you'll update me.
Yeah, I know. Right. I will be, and we have microphones that are up here as well. But I will try to elevate my my voice. So at this time, what we're going to do is that we're going to proceed on in accordance with Robert's rules. There are two minimum officers that are required in order to conduct a meeting. One is the presiding officer, which is myself, and the other is a secretary. At this time, I'm appointing as temporary secretary Mr. Dave Beauchamp. He served as our secretary in the last biennium, but we will actually go ahead and we will have an election on that here in just a few moments. But he is acting as our temporary secretary. I want to welcome all of our guests. We have several elected officials. We have our Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Judge Chuck Rogers. We also have our county attorney, Tim Carricker. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And for all of you guests that are coming here, thank you for being here for this special meeting. Now, at this time, the first order of business is for the oath of office for the chairman. After that, we will proceed with the oath of office for the precinct chairs. Now, this is for the precinct chairs that did fill out an application for a place on the ballot. We will do the oath of office for any appointments once we have appointed them, okay? So, Judge Rogers?
By me?
Slide past you. Sorry.
Raise your right hand, sir. I state your name.
I, Hunter Bonner,
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute
that I will solemnly swear to faithfully execute
the duties of the office of
the duties in the office of County Chairman
the state of Texas, Marion County,
of the state of Texas, Marion County,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
of the United States and of this state, so help me God. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it. Now, at this time, I'm going to ask Judge Rogers if he will remain up here. Our precinct chairs who did file for an application for the place on the ballot, if you would come forward, and he is going to swear you in at this time. In just a moment.
Nice to see you again.
Y'all raise your right hand, please.
Right in.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Marion County, Texas, of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States, and this state. So help me God.
All right, thank you. All right. In accordance with the Republican Party of Texas rules, since this is the organizational meeting, this is actually a statutory meeting. It is not only statutory under the rules of the Republican Party of Texas, it is also statutory under the laws of the state of Texas under Texas Election Code. As a result of that, under the Republican Party of Texas rules, a quorum consists of the members present and voting. So that is our quorum for any statutory meeting. At this time, the next item on our agenda is the appointment of precinct chair vacancies. If there is no objection for the members here, I would like to propose appointments en masse, if that's okay.
In mass meeting.
As one group, all names in one group, and vote on them together, if there's no objection.
Well, there's no objection. I'm just defining if we've got, how many precincts do we not have chairs for?
Well, we do have other vacancies, but for tonight, we would be appointing for precinct 1
Right.
and precinct 8. And so there's still some vacancies out there that those could be filled at another time.
Okay, we're doing 1 and 8 now because,
1 and 8, yeah.
rather
Because
than all of them.
because those other ones, we haven't had anybody come forward.
So we've had people come forward who want
Yes,
number 1 and
yes.
8. And we're going to meet them tonight.
Yes, yeah,
Very
that's
good.
right, yeah. So, at this time, for our nominee, we have a nomination for Precinct 1, Miss Michelle Reddy. Many of you all may remember Miss Reddy. She fulfilled the unexpired term in the last biennium of Miss Peterson. She has served with distinction. She is a strong conservative, somewhat opinionated, and
like
so,
that.
that was a joke, okay? But she is a very strong conservative, stands with our Republican principles through and through. The other nominee is for Precinct 8, which is, excuse me, I need something to drink. I'm sorry.
Chips and salsa gotcha.
Sorry. Our Precinct 8 nominee is Miss Pam Baker. Now, Miss Pam has been a lifelong Republican, and most recently she served as a delegate to the Republican Party convention here in 2026. That was just last month. And attended all of our caucuses, all of our floor meetings in the general convention. So she was there to vote for our rules. She was there for the platform that governs our entire party, which we're actually now under at the state level. So those are our two positions. And I will point out that Precinct 8 in the last biennium was vacant for the entire time. Vacant by fact of the previous precinct chair was not fulfilling their duties.
MIA.
And what's that?
MIA.
MIA. That's right. So those are our nominees, and so I'd like to open up the floor to any questions or discussions to any of our nominees.
Okay, so we got Michelle for
Michelle
1.
for 1,
And-
Miss Pam for
So
8.
you're running for 2. 1 and 8.
Just 8.
Just 8. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so you got 1 for
Yeah,
1
because
and 1 for 8.
yes.
Oh, So you're gonna do a good
It's not
job?
running, we're not running, we're being appointed.
Being appointed. Oh, okay. I actually don't have any questions since I know Michelle. I know how she stands on that. I don't know Pam at all, but she comes with a good background.
She was
Yeah.
at the
Okay,
convention.
all right.
Right.
Yes, do you remember it?
For the convention, I didn't go to the convention.
No, on, our our county convention.
County
back in
convention, yeah.
February or March.
Yeah, so
Right.
back in March, she attended the precinct and county convention. So she was actually the yeah, she was sitting right behind you, and she actually served as the precinct 8 precinct convention chair,
Okay.
and then was a delegate to the county, and then eventually to the state.
That kind of eliminates questions right
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none at this time, I will entertain a motion regarding the appointment of these 2 members.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Welcome to the team. And now, because you have been appointed, Judge Rogers would now like to swear you in. So if you would like to go up to the front, he will go ahead and get you sworn in.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
All right.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And now that we're all together, congratulations. All right. You may take your appointed position at the table. If you all received copies of tonight's agenda, we're now on the back of the page. This is actually I don't know if it's a proper, the agenda. The other items that we had right now, we procedurally had to do in order to get to this point. So you all had a chance to review the agenda, and if there are any amendments to tonight's agenda, the chair will hear those at this time. Are there any amendments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt tonight's agenda as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Precinct 1, seconded by Precinct 2. Any other questions or discussions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Now, before, I had this out of order. Bullet point 2 was elections of permanent secretary and vice chair. Before we do that, we do need to skip to the third bullet point, which is to discuss, consider, and approve the CEC bylaws. The reason why is because the election of those positions is outlined in the bylaws. Okay? Now, you all received a copy of the proposed bylaws. This was sent out a number of weeks ago. These bylaws are what governs the Marion County Republican Party and how we operate. Was there any amendments or any discussion that needs to be held about the bylaws?
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was, when I read it earlier and this was changed, it was saying that a quorum would be 25%.
Yes, a quorum, normally on certain actions, a quorum is, and even according to the Republican Party of Texas rule, is you have to have 1/4. But for tonight's meeting, it is the members present and voting. That's what establishes a quorum.
I don't really care if the Republican Party says it's 25%. A quorum is known to be a majority of a certain amount. It is an agreed upon number that everybody's okay with. Well, if this many people are there, it's okay. But when you have 25% of a handful of people, that's basically saying 2 people can make a rule, which I'm not in favor of whatsoever. So that's why I'm going, regardless of what the Republican Party says, since I haven't read that particular rule, and it didn't, I can't find it offhand here, I didn't mark it on my
Okay.
sheet. I'm going, why are we going with 25%, or are we assuming that at any meeting there will always be more?
Well, typically, like, well, first of all, the Republican Party of Texas sets that quorum rule for any non-statutory business. So, like, we have a regular meeting, like a regular quarterly meeting, and it's not of a statutory nature, then yes, we have to meet that threshold. So, and that's just, and that is, they set the rules on that. The delegates are the ones that voted on that, as well as the committee members down at convention, and we can't override that, unfortunately.
Where is it in here where we set that? 'Cause I can't
Well, it's in
find
the Republican Party of Texas rules, and these
It's in the
bylaws.
But
Huh?
the bylaws I'm seeing is 2/3 vote.
That's
I
a,
see it's
okay.
an
That would be.
amendment and-
Oh yeah, that's regarding amendment of these bylaws.
Right.
So if we
And
wanted to amend these,
financial is 2/3.
Yeah.
Where is it that it's 7 1/4 that I caught?
let's see, 1/4. Bear with me just one second.
I'm not saying.
That is actually in the Republican Party of Texas rules.
So it wasn't in the, I thought for sure, I mean, I'm glad if it's not in the bylaws.
Oh,
Well-
section 4,
Which one is it?
Section 4.
Section 4.
article 4. No, article 5.
Okay.
3,
Any
excuse me.
vacancy in the office of county chairman or precinct chairman shall be filled by the CEC. A quorum in this instance will be 1/4 of the total membership.
I'm sorry. Are you in Article 5 or 4?
Article
It's
3.
3.
Article 3.
Section 4.
Section 4, I'm sorry. Okay, that's for any vacancy in the office of county chairman or precinct chairman shall be filled by the CEC. It shall exist of at least 1/4 of total membership. That's
Excluding vacancies.
excluding vacancies. And that has been part of our bylaws here in Marion County for years. So a lot of it was even before I was elected the first time. But also it does line up with what most other counties do. And this template for bylaws actually came from the Republican Party of Texas. They have a county chairman's handbook, and so that is what they recommend as far as setting a quorum. But it's the same also as a quorum necessary for just conducting regular business. So it has
Seems
to
like
be
everything else in here is 2/3. Because I'm not, in any instance, I'm not really for 25% of the voting
right.
people to be able to do anything, frankly. I can understand maybe in a vacancy, you know, people aren't here and you've got somebody like, hey, I'm coming for you, you know, so, okay. We'll vote for that, but
Yeah, the Republican Party of Texas, they set those rules, and the way it works is you have state law, you have Republican Party of Texas rules. Within Republican Party of Texas, of course, the parliamentary authority is Robert's rules, and then you have local bylaws. But the bylaws, because this was actually a point of contention let's say about 2 or 3 election cycles ago, there was a CEC that wanted their bylaws to supersede the Republican Party of Texas rules, and they actually went to court over it, and the courts ruled, no, you can't do that. And so,
is this the only instance where they do 1/4 and everything else is 2/3?
no, 2/3, no, 1/4 is usually the minimum required in order to have non-statutory. If it's statutory, it's present in voting like tonight. If it's for amending the bylaws, because that's a substantial change, you have to have 2/3. And so, yeah, you have to have 2/3 of the body, not counting. And so, if a quarter showed up and it was a night to amend bylaws, you wouldn't be able to do that agenda item, but you could do other items, but not that.
All right.
Yep. So, any other questions or? Okay. Well, one of our agenda item is to adopt the bylaws, so the chair will entertain a motion at this time.
Second. So moved. Second.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, who made the motion?
So moved.
Motion. Okay. Motion by Ms. Reddy in Precinct 1, seconded by Mr. Beauchamp in Precinct 2. Is there any other discussion? Okay. All in favor of the bylaws as presented, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And if you'll bear with me just a second here, what's today, the 21st, right? Mr. Secretary, could you sign that? Oh, you got one, okay. He's gonna use his pen, so. All right. Thank you. Now, looking at your bylaws that we just adopted, under Article 4, Section 1, I'd like to direct your attention to that. This is the next item on our agenda, which is the elections of the permanent secretary and vice chair. It says officers of the county executive committee shall be the county chairman, the county vice chairman, secretary, and treasurer. The county vice chairman and secretary and treasurer shall be voted on by the CEC at the organizational meeting, and in no case shall the office of vice chairman be vacant for more than 90 days. So, this is where we're at this point. Mr. Beauchamp is our temporary secretary, otherwise we couldn't hold a meeting. We wouldn't be able to record some of the votes that we have. Now we're to the point of an election of a permanent secretary, a permanent vice chair. Now, it says it shall be voted on by the CEC at the organizational meeting. I would like to also direct your attention to Section 4, point B, and it says, among other things, the county vice chairman shall assist the chairman as requested in the performance of the duties of the office, and in the event of the death of the chairman, or his or her inability or unwillingness to serve, the vice chairman shall serve as the acting chairman until the chairman resumes his or her duties, or until the election of a new county chairman. The office of the county vice chairman does not necessarily have to be held by a precinct chair. So, in a nutshell, a person can serve as a vice chair who is not necessarily a precinct chair, and this is very common throughout the Republican Party. So, at this time, I will entertain any nominations for the office, first of all, of permanent secretary. Any nominations?
I nominate Dave Beauchamp.
We have a nomination of Mr. Beauchamp by Ms. Reddy. Are there any other nominations? I'm gonna be like convention. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, by right of acclamation, Mr. Beauchamp is our permanent secretary. And may the odds ever be in your favor. You know, so. Now, next is the office of vice chair. Currently, the Marion County Republican Party does not have a vice chair. All of these offices ended at the conclusion of the convention that we just came back from. That's when the biennium ends. Are there any nominations for vice chair? Are there any nominations?
Michelle Reddy. But who wants it?
It doesn't have to be a precinct chair, correct?
It does not have to be a precinct chair, and they do not have to be present and voting.
I'm here in support of my Julie that's
Chairs like
Looks at the former mayor.
He'd be good.
I nominate Mr. Baker.
I'm sorry?
I nominate Mr. Baker.
I hear a nomination for Mr. Baker as vice chair. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? By right of acclamation, Mr. Baker is our vice chair of the Republican Party. By the way, there is no 401k package. Okay.
I don't think there's a salary, is there?
Free
There's
chip,
a salad
Better
at
not
Taco
be.
Bell.
I don't, is there any money?
chips and sauce.
Now,
You get free chips.
we have conducted the meat and potatoes of our meeting at this time, and so we are now officially organized. All right. So Now, what does this mean? What this means is that a biennium happens every 2 years. So these members will serve beginning, their terms actually started back in mid-June, but their terms will run from the end of convention that we just had until the end of the next state convention in 2028. In that election year, that will be a presidential election year. At that year, there will be nominations at state convention for national delegates to nominate the new president and vice president of the United States. So it's a great opportunity. I thank everybody here for willing to step up and serve. Now,
Can I ask a question?
yes, ma'am.
What about the treasurer?
What about the treasurer? Yes, the treasurer is the next position that we have. Is there? And at this time, we did have. And about the treasurer position, I've tried to reach out to like CPA firms and things like that. But as everybody knows, our party is limited on funds. Okay, CPAs can be a little bit expensive. Even though our books are not complicated, we have 3 accounts.
Yeah, that's it.
But if somebody has a nomination for the office of treasurer, the chair will open up the floor at this time for nominations. Are there any nominations for treasurer? Are there any nominations? At this time, we have no nominations. The office of treasurer is open. However, that office can be filled at any time, and that nomination can come from any member of the county executive committee meeting. So, if you know of somebody who's good with numbers, and I'm not talking about running numbers in a book or anything like that. I said that for your benefit, counselor. So please let me know. Let them get in touch with the chairman because we would definitely want to vote on that. And by the way, I think that we could vote on that through a called Zoom meeting versus coming together. So, all right. Moving along with our bombastic review. The next item on the agenda is to discuss, consider, and approve a resolution in support of the creation of a groundwater conservation district. All of you received a resolution that's in your packet, but for the purposes of the meeting, I'm going to go ahead and read it aloud. This is a resolution in support of the creation of a groundwater conservation district. Whereas groundwater is one of East Texas's most valuable natural resources and is essential to the health, safety, agriculture, economy, and future of the communities, and whereas Article 16, Section 59 of the Texas Constitution recognizes the conservation and development of the state's natural resources as public rights and duties, and the Texas legislature has designated groundwater conservation districts as the preferred method of groundwater management. And whereas locally governed groundwater conservation districts provide scientific management, transparency, public participation, permitting authority, and long-term planning to protect groundwater while respecting private property rights. And whereas the citizens of East Texas have a compelling interest in ensuring that local groundwater resources are managed responsibly and that the current and future water needs of the East Texas residents, agriculture, businesses, and communities remain at the highest priority. Now therefore be it resolved that the Marion County Republican Party supports the creation of a locally governed groundwater conservation district to protect groundwater resources from present and future generations, preserve private property rights while promoting responsible science-based groundwater management, ensure local control over groundwater decisions through transparency, accountability, and public participation, support sustainable agriculture, homeowners, businesses, municipalities, and economic development, and evaluate significant commercial and industrial groundwater withdrawals to ensure that they serve beneficial and sustainable public purposes. Protect East Texas groundwater from excessive or unsustainable exports that could threaten the long-term water security, economy, agricultural, and quality of life of our communities, and place the current and future water needs of East Texas residents, landowners, agricultural businesses, and local communities above the interests of outside entities that seek access to East Texas groundwater resources. And be it further resolved that the Marion County Republican Party respectfully encourages the Texas legislature and all appropriate governmental entities to support the establishment of a locally governed groundwater conservation district that reflects the needs and the priorities of East Texas while ensuring responsible stewardship of its precious groundwater resources. That's a mouthful, okay?
It's a good one.
So, at this time, you've heard the resolution. The floor is open for any amendments. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have an amendment, but it's my understanding that by having a groundwater conservation district, we will have more control over those who are trying to usurp our groundwater and take control of it and export it.
Right.
And so this is a big deal. I mean, I saw this, I already know a little
Yes.
bit about it, but to see that we have a resolution on it is heartwarming, because we've got powerful entities with a lot of money trying to take our groundwater, and they could care less if your well runs dry.
Right.
And they could care less about where they put their data centers. And you probably know more than I do
Right.
on what kind of control, if we can get this going.
You're exactly right. So what Miss Reddy, or excuse me, what Miss Narav is talking about is that without groundwater conservation districts, the rule of capture applies, which basically means that they could go underneath your land and suck as much water out as they, as they can. That's the rule of capture. A groundwater conservation district basically does exactly what she suggested. It provides local control. Now, that doesn't mean that we want to necessarily stop progress altogether or anything like that, but it manages that groundwater. And what she mentioned is local counties around East Texas. I think Upshur County recently just did it. Gregg County just recently said that they would want to sign on to that. And if I'm not mistaken, I've spoken with our commissioners in Commissioners Court. I believe that the Marion County Commissioners Court will be considering joining a groundwater conservation district. And of course, we all saw, what was it, last year, that, and I don't want to say this to trivialize it, but things did turn into kind of a circus regarding our own Lake of the Pines. Now, that's surface water, okay? So we're talking about groundwater, and there's actually people, and this happened, I think, in Cody Harris's district, where they want to bore underneath there and just start taking things out, and you could run your well dry, and there's nothing that you could do about it. But there's a groundwater conservation district, there's some hoops to jump through, and it's about local control.
Yeah.
And I will say this, there are things that Austin does that Austin needs to do. And there's a lot of things that happen here in Marion County that Marion County residents know what's best for them, as well as our East Texas neighbors. And so I agree with you, and I think it's a very good thing. So
No, I strongly support it, because I'd heard about it before, and I was very pleased to read this, because we have such an encroachment from different entities trying to take a resource
Yes.
that God gave us in our territory, right, that they want to use for
Right.
basically profit. I mean, if Dallas wants our water, it's for Dallas's profit, so they can continue to grow more.
Right.
And AI data centers, they don't care what they take.
Well,
you know?
and exactly.
We have to put fences up to stop wherever we can this encroachment on our water. So I'm in for agreement.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else have any comments about the resolution, or just your general thoughts on it?
Did you write this all yourself?
No.
You got it.
No. There was some things that I had to change and stuff like that, but this is a similar resolution that our other sister CECs throughout East Texas are. So this is, you got Dallas, you got a major metropolitan area, you got Houston, you got San Antonio. Well, it takes all of us rural communities in East Texas to band together and put up a firewall. So, yes,
I have
ma'am.
one question as far as, we keep parroting local control, local control, local control. I'd like to see, I like this, but I would like to see somebody flesh out who and how would be assigned to be on this conservation district. Simply looking at what happened with the water district. They brought somebody in from Fort Worth to backstab everybody. But,
Yeah, it's a
I
valid
mean,
point.
if you talk about local control, it needs to be local people. Nobody pulled in here from, Austin or Fort Worth
point.
or
I like
someplace else. I mean, it needs to be limited to the people here that know what's going on here. Not just business people, but people out in the county who have a well that are concerned about that. Not just bigwigs.
Preferably not a politician.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
I live in northwestern Marion County. I'm on a well, okay? And without a groundwater conservation district,
Yeah,
we could
same,
just,
same.
yeah. And good points all around. I agree with you that we definitely need to, and that is something, and I'll say this in front of the people here, for those who will watch this when we post this, we couldn't live stream it because of some network issues, but that's where you have to get involved. Go to commissioner's court, go to a city council meeting, go to any of these other hospital, get involved in the sense of find out what's going on so that you can hold yourself accountable and you can hold our elected officials accountable and stuff. So I agree with you. It's having people local, not from such and such who lives in the panhandle or something like that, It needs to be from East Texas.
That raises another question. When, are there rules within the state, because this has to go to the legislature, right, to get this?
Yes.
Okay. Do they have rules as far as organizationally how the conservation district
It
has
is.
to be set up?
Yes.
And on our local end, do we have any control over that in the sense of if they're saying, oh, anybody can run it and blah, 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 and we go, no, gotta be local.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know how much control we actually put into.
And to be completely transparent, I don't know all the intricacies of the organ. I do know that it is set by the legislature, so this has been decided on eons ago. So, but as we're getting ready to start a legislative year, they'll start pre-filing bills in mid to late November before Thanksgiving, and all the way. That's where we need to stay in touch with our state representative, our state senator. Who, by the way, it was his birthday today. So, but that is. Absolutely. We need to stay on top. The CEC needs to stay on top of that, but we also need to let people in our precincts know, hey, this is coming, and we'll be all over it like we were on a lot of things. So.
Even though I'd heard about this, not that we were doing this, but I'd heard about doing this, I'm not familiar with all of the benefits it gives us. Is there a place that, because if you're going to impart knowledge to people in the precinct and other people, it'd be
Yes.
nice to know, okay, it gives us this, and this type of an advantage against the encroachments.
There is a resource that I'm working with right now that I think could come and speak at our next CEC meeting that would be able to provide that kind of information, who's been following water issues for, frankly, well over a decade and a half, almost 20 years. So, but yeah,
All right,
we can
super.
cover
I'd
that.
love to have that. Yeah, because the more we can educate people and get people involved to know and support it, the better off we would be.
Yeah.
Alone.
Agreed.
But it'd be nice to have a little more information. So that'd be great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do we need a motion on this? Or?
Yeah, if there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the resolution.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Reddy, seconded by Ms. Narab on the resolution. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So this is the 21st day of July. Yeah, all right.
That's great.
Now, so we've covered that. So this last bit, I'll try to be as brief as I can. Discussion on the Texas GOP convention debrief. Speaking as a delegate, I was a delegate to the convention. Pam was a delegate. Mr. Baker was an alternate. My wife Lynette was also a delegate. My daughter, who's not able to be here tonight because she is working out of town, she was also a delegate. Mr. Beauchamp was a delegate, as well as Mrs. Beauchamp, Miss Rebecca. The overall theme was unity. Unity, I saw that word more times than I care to count. And that's because I'll be frank with you. We've had a brutal primary season. It's been, whether your person won or not, it's been brutal. And now the primaries are over. We had a runoff election that happened less than 60 days ago. And guess what? What are we looking at now? We're looking at a general election. So that was the overall message. It was the first convention that I've seen Governor Abbott show up at in probably the last three or four conventions. He showed up at this one, spoke from the stage. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick did. Ken Paxton did as well. Nate Sheets, pretty much our entire Republican ticket, from who's running for U.S. Senator, all the way down the pike, spoke about unity. I do want to say that we also elected our two SRECs. They're both from Red River County, Jim O'Beer and Susan Conway. And so, they were not able to be here tonight, but they are our new SRECs. So we have two fresh, and they've been intimately involved in their own water fight. Which that's not what the SRE seat is all about. But given that it is now a priority within the party, we have, it's in one of the largest senatorial districts in Texas, people that are intimately familiar with that. So we need to exercise that resource. It was a great convention. We had a good turnout. And even up to the last day, there was a fantastic moment of unity. I think we all remember that. And it was a reminder that just because somebody says they're a Republican doesn't always mean that they share our values. We always have differences of opinion, but there are some fundamental things. And there was one controversial thing that came up. Some Jew talked about it, and I say that because that was me. But there was an issue that came up, and it was a galvanizing moment for the entire convention, who said, you know what? I have differences with this person. I was standing at the microphone waiting to speak, and I look down and I see Miss Kathy Ponce from Ellis County, my old home county. And she just looked at me and she said, what are you here for? And I said, well, to speak about this item that's coming up. She said, are you for it or against it? And I said, I'm against it. And she said, high five. And so, but the thing is, even people that we disagree with the most, there was lines drawn in the sand where we said, yeah, we're not going there. And the delegates spoke. It wasn't just me. The delegates spoke. And it was, of course, we have a new chair and a new vice chair. Our new chair is Dorinda Randall. Our vice chair is David Covey. David Covey lives in Longview. Real close. I'm going to try to get him to come over here. Okay? And so, we'll try to lure him over maybe with some bread and cookies. I don't know. So, but that was my experience of the convention. Any of our other CEC members who were delegates have anything to share? You're chomping at the bit, Ms. Pam. Go ahead. This was your first convention.
It was my first. It was a great experience. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend go. It was very informative to see it all. Everybody does have a voice, a say. That's the thing I was really, from this level all the way up to state. It was really cool. I look forward to going to the next one.
Excellent.
Yeah, I walked away with the same kind of, it was like, okay, because I was just there, it's like, I didn't have a clue what to expect. And it was just like, okay, it really is something that, you need to experience. It really is, as a delegate and alternate.
Mr. Vice Chair, what was your experience?
Yeah, it was pretty polarizing. I mean, it was lots of opinions, but in the end, votes happened, alignments happened, and we moved on to the next topic. Pretty neat to see. I mean, when people wonder how laws get passed at a state level, well, we're right there where the sausage is being made. I mean, it starts in this room, and it goes to that room, and then it goes to the governor's desk. I mean, there's a lot of movement, a lot of topics.
Yes.
Can I say a few words?
The chair recognizes, yes.
My name's John Van Compernoll. I just retired, I guess, as a precinct chair for Wood County. And I've been probably more active than 90% of the spent nearly 80 days in Austin last session.
Wow.
And I want to talk just briefly about this idea of unity. And for 2 years, well, a year and a half, we have beat up Dustin Burrows. We have beat up the process by which Dustin Burrows became the speaker. But I want to point out some things that very few people recognize. In the 23 session, there were 200 Republican Party priority bills identified, and 8 became law. Under Dustin Burrows, there were 200 Republican Party priority bills, and 43 became law. That's a 5-fold increase. Not only that, the speaker had 17 priority subjects, of which all 8 of the Republicans were included. And all told, in those 17 very conservative priorities, he passed over 200 bills. So we can still not like that Dustin Burrows is less conservative than we'd like, but we have to recognize the win that this session was compared to the previous 3 or 5. And that's something to unify behind. So,
Right.
so I would rather people understand the facts and understand that we are moving in the right direction. We're not 100% there, but by God, this was a giant step. And we can take another one if we don't bash our representatives at every turn.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, thank you. Ms. Lynette, you were a delegate to the convention as well. What are your thoughts on it? What did you come away with?
I love how the city process worked, how that she was saying that our vote really does count and it matters, and despite our differences, we came together for one purpose.
Yeah. Somebody asked me one time, they said, well, what's the Republican Party of Texas convention like? I said, it is basically a Star Trek convention for political nerds. Okay. And so I was in my own, all we need now is a secret handshake or something like that. So, but I do appreciate the stories and the experiences that our delegates had. And I want to encourage everybody here that if you want to get involved with the party, how do you become a delegate? You got to attend your precinct convention, which we have here as soon as the primary is over in an even number year. We schedule a couple of weeks later our precinct and county conventions. That's where it starts. You get nominated and elected as a delegate. You get to go down to convention, and I believe it's going to be in Houston again next time. And it's a pretty good sized convention center down there with a lot of amenities and stuff. But anyway, but that is the main, and I'll just wrap up this convention debrief. It's about unity. We have a big hurdle ahead of us coming into the fall. We have to win. There are a lot of people that are going even for some down ballot races to try to win those spots, but we need to be unified on our Republican ticket, and that way we can have some victory. And as we get closer to election season, we're going to try to get some signs out for our nominees, and hopefully do some door knocking and things like that here and there. So, with that being said, our next item on the agenda is is there any new business to consider for our next meeting?
Whatever happened with the texting?
Ah, yes.
Texting. Okay, so working with texting and what have you, I've been doing more research into the texting. It is not fully implemented yet, but I have been working on some things in the background, just doing some testing, and also making sure that we're compliant with those federal laws, which I know that service does do that. I did have one question that I can't seem to get an answer out of them, out of their support.
There's other companies.
Yeah, there are, and I'm considering that, but there's one question that I had about just remaining compliant, especially as it centers around the canned spam law and stuff like that. And I'm still trying to get intricate, but it is something that we are going to have online by the time elections, before early voting.
It'll be very helpful.
And that's one thing that we'll discuss at our next meeting is, hey, we'll set dates. Hey, on this date, or around this time, we want to start sending out, hey, early voting are these dates. You know, vote Republican. You know, that sort of thing. So it's being done.
I got a question.
Yes,
Back
ma'am.
to the debrief for the convention. We're talking unity. We're talking new chairman, new vice chairman.
There's a
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the input that 200 bills passed, but the people's priorities didn't. Right? I look at it not as a precinct chair, but as a resident of the state. And what I see happening is a lot of pandering to Islam, a lot of pandering to higher taxes, a lot of pandering to the school boards, which I think are doing a lousy job. An inactive governor who's not really passing much, a lot of talk and doesn't really do a heck of a lot. Now, I'm a Republican, but I'm a very disappointed Republican, which is when he's not active. With a new chair, and we've got new priorities. What level of push and power are the Republicans going to be able to do with, I'm sorry, it is a democratically controlled legislature. The way that they change things is not cool, right, by making Democrats the chairs and the vice chair having power. And they got through a lot of stuff. The important things that we want to get through, it seems to me, we weren't able to really push it on.
Yeah, I will say this, at convention, and you guys might agree with me as well, at every other turn, every breakout session, every message that was coming up was, don't Sharia my Texas.
Oh, I know. Have you seen the movie?
Well, I haven't seen the movie, but
it's worth seeing, by the way.
But my point is that theme pervaded from the start of the convention, and we're talking whenever they were having committee meetings before we all showed up, all the way to the very last gavel, and every person who got up and spoke, who is an elected official or who is a Republican candidate, spoke about, you know, the issues of Islam. There was also a breakout session. I believe that Amy Meck was up there running she ran it was 2 or 3 days during lunch. We had a lunch and learn about it. It is very high profile, not just with the delegates or the party officials, but it is with the elected officials. And I would say at this point right now, heading into the next session, anybody that did anything or any politician that decided not to, you know, go along with that is going to most likely be heavily primaried and challenged, and that's what's going to happen.
I personally doubt that Governor Abbott's going to win as a chief.
Right.
Because Governor Abbott has done nothing good for the state for way too long. He shouldn't be running again. And his biggest donor is Islamic, right? He is doing absolutely nothing. His thing on banning Sharia is a farce. It doesn't ban Sharia.
Well,
so there are things that can be done within this state because Islam is not a religion, and put out properly, they can be designated what they are. We've got the power to do it, but we don't have the legislative impetus, the homies, or the governor who's going to act upon it. And what power do we have with unity, right, that we can start really forcing it?
Yeah, that's well, I saw it at convention, and I even saw them getting pulled aside in the hallway. So it's there. It's more than a groundswell at this point. So
we gotta keep the
So okay. So I didn't hear any new business. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by the vice chair, seconded by Ms. Reddy. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. Please enjoy your meal, and you know, regular meet. So we meet once a quarter, so once every 3 months. Probably not going to have a meeting in August. People are still we'll probably meet after Labor Day at some point. Probably pretty quickly. So typically we like to try to have ours on the second Thursday of the month. We will try to have it centrally in Jefferson because We used to,
I'm the only
we
one.
would have had it at the Haywood House, but it just temporarily
I cannot
closed.
run.
Typically, that's where we have met at
When they're
because we don't have a
given the
headquarters.
time,
And so we try to have it in Jefferson because we have people coming from different precincts in.
I'm
It's
gonna go
centrally
place an
located.
order to go.
So yeah,
well,
that's
it's
where
good
it's
to see
at.
you,
So,
Michelle.
I'll be
and
right
we will
back. I'm
always
gonna place an
announce
order
that.
to go.
There is a sign-up sheet that's there. Be sure you fill out your name and address and email address because we'll put you on the newsletter, and that way you get emailed whenever we're having a meeting. We try to give plenty of notice. So yeah. So
Good. Good meeting.
hey, good meeting. Let me.